I am Sergeant Daisy, Colorado Springs Police Department. I supervise the community response team. The CRT is a community response team. They were established back in 2014. There was a need identified where we were taking too many people to the hospital for behavioral health. The hospitals were not equipped to help these people, so they established a team that could actually respond to where the person was, provide resources that they needed, and get them help right there on the spot. These resources ranged from classes on alcohol, drugs, anger. They also established same-day or next-day appointments with a psychiatrist, sometimes by teledoc, sometimes in person. So the teams really tried to alleviate the taking of people to the hospital and get more of a personal touch with them. The community response team is made up of 3 people. We're a partnership. We have a police officer, we have a fire medic, and we have a diversus clinician. This is a licensed psychologist that rides with us. The police officer mostly is the person that goes up first and introduces the team, makes sure the situation is safe. The medic tries to determine if the behavioral health problem might be caused by some underlying medical condition. And then finally, the clinician is what I consider the quarterback of the unit. They're the ones that make all the decisions. They're the ones evaluating the people, seeing what resources they can do to help them. And ultimately, it may come down to they actually do an M1 and we take them into a facility, but that's the clinician's decision also. So the community response team has several different avenues of receiving calls, one of which is straight from diversus, who gets it from the state hotline, that's the 988. When it makes its way down to us, that becomes a priority call. We have an hour to get to that one. Diversus has their own hotline, people call into them. We have CSPD's dispatch center, who's receiving check the welfare, suicidal calls, homicidal calls. And then lastly, we have the officers in the field and the fire department personnel in the field who will call for CRT. On the average, they run 5 to 7 a day. Each call probably takes 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what they do on it. They stay relatively busy. We run 4 teams, 7 days a week, 9 a.m. till midnight. So we have some overlapping teams on occasion. But the teams stay pretty busy. So the majority of the calls we do are probably fall in the nature of just check the welfare. Someone knows of someone that needs help, or it might be a family, relative, something like that they know. A lot of times people post on social media, and those are tough ones because people will say things on social media that might be misinterpreted, like I'm done with this world, meaning they're having a bad day, or it could mean just the opposite, they really truly need help. So a lot of our calls come in through the dispatch center. We don't get a lot of the state hotline calls. They usually work out the resources for those people by the time it gets down to us. Diversus doesn't get a lot of hotline calls, but a lot of them come in just through the dispatch center. Probably the second most amount of calls we'll get are from officers in the field. They might get a call of suspicious person, someone just standing on the corner. They get up and start talking to them and very quickly realize this is a behavioral health moment. They need some different resources, so they'll call for the CRT team to come over there. Same thing with the fire department. They might respond on what seems like a medical emergency, get there and find out there's a behavioral health and that they need or want the CRT team to come out and talk with them.
So I joined the CRT team specifically because I wanted to help people that are in crisis. Through my own journey with mental health, it's been something I've been very passionate about, and it affects a lot of our community members. So it's something that I wanted to use specifically to be able to give back to the community.
I think CRT is a huge benefit to the community, originally created for kind of like hospital diversion and being able to have police and ambulance in their regular calls while not having to tend to a bunch of mental health calls. I think mental health is a foundation for a lot of crime that's committed and can be diverted if some of the mental health things is addressed. So being able to help divert is really helpful. And then also, we have a larger homeless population. We're able to kind of be hands-on with them, providing them accurate resources without being in and out of hospitals, and then being able to get somebody immediately to emergency services if necessary. We're able to kind of make that happen.
A call for service that my team went out on, where we were able to help an ongoing situation that it was for a teenager, and they had been struggling with suicidal ideations and suicidal thoughts for quite some time, and were very, very quiet about it, and the parents had no idea. We received a safety tell because the student had reached out to another student about some of the feelings that they were feeling. We ended up contacting the student at the parents' home, and they were very confused to why we were there. After talking to the student actually had a plan and the means to end their life that night. And when we showed up, we were able to talk them out of it, talk them through what they were going through, and also inform the parents who had no idea that their child was going through this stuff, and probably would have woken up the next morning to their child being dead in their home. We were able to get the child to a safe place and get the parents the proper resources they need and that this city has to offer in going forward in dealing with some of the mental health issues that their teenager was experiencing.
So for a CRT team, the police officers will get the team together. The fire department works out of the FTC at a different location, and Diversis works out of a different location. So the police officer gets all the equipment together, gets the vehicle, and goes and picks up their other two teams. At that point, they each have their own computer system. The police officer has hooked into CAD system. The Diversis has theirs coming in through the hotline and in connection with the lighthouse. The walk-in center, they're talking with them at all times. And then the FD has their computer system looking on what they call the fire side to see what calls are come in. Once they get into service, they take a look at what's holding. Normally they don't get a lot of downtime to do other things, but if there's no calls holding, they can look at previous visits to see if they require any further follow-up. Sometimes they're just checking on other people they know that need resources more than the average person. So I think the biggest challenge for the CRT team, sometimes just not being able to get to people. There's calls that we will not take a team into just because it's too dangerous, but they know they can help. It's just if they have a gun, we won't take civilians into that situation. So one of the biggest challenges is just being able to get to face-to-face contact with the people that we need to talk to and we need to get the resources to. The other one, and probably the biggest problem I think we run into, is the state, and I guess any state for that matter, is just not equipped with enough resources to help people that need the help. The behavioral health arena is growing. More and more people are requiring resources and help, and they just don't have the bed space at the facilities. They don't have the time to get, or the psychiatrist that can see them one-on-one. It's just a lack of resources trying to get people help. Two different parts of that question. If you're experiencing a behavioral health episode yourself and you want help, they can call the regular 444-7000, that's the police number. They can call the 911, that's the emergency. They also have the newest, it's the 988 system done through the state. And it's a statewide suicide or behavioral health hotline where you actually talk to someone and they'll get you routed to the right people. That may not be CRT, but in the end it might be. We might end up coming out and talking with you and seeing what they can do. But a lot of people who want help themselves don't require a team to come out. They can just get them set up with the resources they need. The second part of that question, and one that's a little more tougher to answer, is if you see someone that needs behavioral health, that needs some kind of help, just call the police department. Call either the 444-7000. If you don't think it's emergency, if you do think it's emergency, call 911. Some of the different areas we've had are just, like I said, people walking down the street talking to themselves. That would probably be the 444-7000. You see someone walking in and out of traffic who looks like they're trying to be hit by a car, that would probably be a 911. But the main point is let the professionals come out and talk with them. Let the people trained to do that come out and talk with them. Don't try to handle that yourself. The community response team is out there. You may not even know. They travel in an unmarked vehicle, and we do that for the privacy of the people we're responding on. If you were having a behavioral health moment, you wouldn't want all your neighbors to know that. It does become a little bit obvious when a fully uniformed police officer, fire department, and then diverses get out of this vehicle to come talk to you. But we try to keep that as private as we can. Mostly I just want the community to know that we're out there and we're trying to help people. If you know someone that needs help, please call. We take pride in trying to get people as much help as we can.